This is John Clay, sports columnist for the Lexington Herald-Leader. I'm here with my colleagues Mark Story and Jerry Tipton. We're here in Dallas for the Final Four, where tonight Kentucky plays Wisconsin in the national semifinals, looking for a trip to Monday night's championship game. Jerry, talk a little bit about the matchup between these two teams tonight.
Well, it's being perceived as a matchup of athletic and talented Kentucky against disciplined Wisconsin. And it was interesting yesterday talking to both teams how neither team was very happy with how they're portrayed. The Kentucky guys, John Hood, likened it to when they played Cornell in 2010, and as he said, Cornell was the smart guys and Kentucky was the stupid guys. And he said, hey, just look at what was the final score. Kentucky won. So they're not happy with that. And Wisconsin, their center, Frank Kaminsky, said that they're perceived as just a bunch of white guys, as he said. And they think that, I think they're the highest scoring Wisconsin team in 20 years. So they think they're just more than just discipline.
What about rebounding? How big is that going to be in the game tonight?
Very big, I think, because Wisconsin does not turn the ball over much. Not that Kentucky produces a lot of turnovers, but they like to get out in transition, as we all know. And they make their living offensively off getting offensive rebounds. So I think Wisconsin is really going to be focused on trying to limit Kentucky on the boards.
And Mark, obviously Wisconsin, from a matchup standpoint, they present quite a problem for Kentucky.
Well, there's one big problem, and it's a 7-foot problem named Frank Kaminsky. And I think this is a game where what we think is the unavailability of Willie Cauley-Stein could really hurt Kentucky. If you watch the Arizona game, when they had their 7-footer on Kaminsky, he took him outside and shot threes. When they put a smaller player, a super athletic Aaron Gordon on him, he went inside and posted. Now, if you're Kentucky and you don't have Cauley-Stein available, you're sort of in this dilemma. Can Dakari Johnson guard him out on the floor? I think probably not. Then do you risk Julius Randle picking up foul trouble guarding the other team's best player? So if you don't go with that, then what do? Alex Poitras, I think, can guard him on the floor. He may be able to get physical with him, but he would have some of the same problems Gordon had. I wonder if John Calipari will trust his zone defense, or if you can even do that against a team that shoots threes as well as Wisconsin. I think Kaminsky is a really difficult matchup if he plays well.
What about Marcus Lee? Could he play him, and what sort of effect could he have on this game?
I think Marcus Lee, athletically could give him problems with his quickness. I just wonder if he's strong enough. He's awfully slender, and Michigan did not have a big bruising front line, and he was, that really didn't impact him last week. It'll be very interesting to see if Marcus, if they try him, and if Marcus Lee is experienced enough to, go against Kaminsky and some of his clever post moves.
Yeah, that would be my fear if I was Calipari. Is Lee have that experience to play a guy who's very experienced? And I think the Arizona center said that one of the things that bothered him about Kaminsky was he was so awkward that he's not your traditional guy.
Yeah, he is a unique player, and it's a player that I think it's going to be very interesting to see how Kentucky defends him, assuming Willie Cauley-Stein is not playing.
Well, and then we come to the part where we have to make our predictions. I'll start with Mark.
I'm going back and forth. When I started doing research on Wisconsin, I've gotten more and more impressed with what they've done. They've beaten 3 of the 4 number 1 seeds in this tournament. They have 21 wins against RPI top 100 teams. But and I do think Kentucky, this is a game where they could miss Cauley-Stein more than they did against Michigan. Now, having said all that, I'm picking Kentucky to win another close one.
What about you, Jerry?
Well, I'm definitely picking a close one. I have no doubts about that. As you guys know, the last 3 games have come down to a big shot right at the end, and I don't see any reason why it's not going to be the same thing again. I think Wisconsin's got a lot of shooters, and if I'm Kentucky, I'm a little concerned about can they do it again? Can they do it? Can the 4th time work in Kentucky's favor? It's hard to pick. It really is.
Yeah, I'm with both you guys. I think it'll be a close game. I think Wisconsin's going to have a hard time keeping Kentucky off the boards, and I think Kentucky, obviously, that was a big advantage that they had against Michigan. But I think Kentucky's playing with so much confidence right now. I think they feel like that we're the team we were supposed to be when we're preseason number 1. And I'm at this point, I'm not picking against Kentucky either. Well, this is John Clay along with Mark Story and Jerry Tipton from the Herald-Leader. Be sure and check out our coverage on Kentucky.com.